Hello YouTube, it is your boy GZTV back with another video, and in this video we're here with Dexter Resurrection episode 3. I do know that episode 4 is just released, but we might take a break from Dexter to watch Happy Gilmore 2. Now I know I've already kind of gotten some negative reviews, but we're gonna watch it anyway because again I like the original. But just kind of summarizing, that's what we do every video. Dexter continues his search for the dark passenger. Harrison makes a shocking confession to the police, so Harrison's kind of getting himself in more and more trouble. And Dexter learns about a unique dinner party for serial killers, and that is where Charlie's character is going to come in. You know, she kind of remained a mystery towards the beginning of the season, but now it's starting to come to light what she is going to do exactly. And they've already hinted at, I can't remember the actor's name, but he has a character. He's a dwarf and he's like this boss guy. Yeah, we're just going to kind of get into it. We can talk about that when episode 4 comes. The first 2 episodes of the show were warmly received by fans critically. I've seen the spin-off series proving to be both refreshing and familiar at the same time. Again, we always talk about on this channel, we preach that. Give some new things to the fans, also have some fan service. It's a good balance of both. After finding the identity of the dark passenger in the previous episode, this episode saw Dexter Morgan on the hunt, which added a level of intensity that will set this one apart, and I do think this is probably the best episode so far, at least the most iconic. I do like the first episode, but man, sorry about the headphone bit. Doesn't quite compare to this one. Meanwhile, tension continues to rise for Harrison Morgan in an episode that felt gripping and fast-flowing from start to finish. It carries on the strong start that the show has made, progressing the plot quite nicely, so we're just going to get into a giant discussion, and that'll be the video. So first off, we're going to start with Dexter's search for the dark passenger, kind of discuss that. Audiences get to see Dexter's kill table for the first time in this show, which is a huge moment. That's pretty iconic, memorable. The third episode of the show saw Dexter search for the man using his name, continuing in a manner that blended the typical awkward Dexter humor with his talent for tracking down his prey. Again, he was a blood spatter analyst for Miami Metro. He was kind of like a detective at the same time. He's kind of playing that same game here with the dark passenger, and it was really dope. Dexter is shown as a rideshare driver, with his ratings being low, and having him in that environment provides some humor to balance out his hunt for his next target. I think that's awesome that he's like an Uber driver. I think that's such an awesome storyline. Whoever came up with that, props to you. That's awesome. So he has a bad driver rating because he really doesn't give a fuck. Like, he's kind of using it as an outlet to make money. He's using it as an outlet to get to the dark passenger as well. And Blessing Kamara attempts to help him with that, with his character proving to be one of the show's true good guys so far. Like, he's one of the only like good-hearted guys, and you need that in a lot of like these crime, intense serial killer type of shows. He encourages Dexter to show a photo of his son to gain sympathy, but he's more interested in the metal that he uses to fix a hole. This episode also harkens back to the original series, as Dexter is shown hunting down the dark passenger just as he used to do with his victims in the past, kind of paying homage to that, which is great as always. This episode brings that classic feeling that fans are sure to love, but once again this show adds popular music in the background, which is awesome, which is something I think I'm going to continue to praise with the show as we go on, which helps kind of give it a fresher feel. All of that culminates in the dark passenger ending up in the back of his car, leading to a genuine moment of tension as he experiences what the newest serial killer in town is capable of. And by the way, I haven't really said this in my other reviews, but these are spoiler reviews. We are getting into some deep stuff here, so if you haven't watched the episodes, what are you doing? Catch up with me, you know what I mean? And yeah, the whole car scene, the ride, we know that Dexter's not going to die because he is the main character, he's the titular character, but it was still very fucking intense. Like, what's going to happen? Is he going to be able to kill him? Is he going to be able to get the needle in him? Such a dope dynamic with like the needle falling in between the seat. He's got to reach down, grab it, and it's great. Dexter gets trapped with Red, setting up to kill Dexter in the way that has previously been shown by sawing off the head. However, Dexter has the upper hand, wearing a metal plate around his neck, so he doesn't get hurt by the wire, which allows him to inject the dark passenger in classic fashion. And like towards the beginning of the episode, they do kind of show some foreshadowing with Dexter like watching Blessing kind of use it to like keep the rats away. That was awesome. I love the touches here. It leads to audiences getting their first taste of a classic scene from this franchise with his victim on his table. Dexter rolls back the years and goes through the classic build-up to dispatch his victim, letting him know there's only room in this world for one dark passenger in the process. And what a fucking badass one line, what a badass scene from Michael C. Hall and the character of Dexter Morgan. It might have taken 3 episodes to get to this, but fans have finally seen Dexter doing what he does best, with America's favorite serial killer proving he's not lost his touch just yet, and that is amazing. Now I kind of want to transition over, again, there's kind of like 3 pillars of the storyline. Now I want to talk about the whole Harrison Morgan situation, because the walls are closing in on this guy. He makes a major confession in this episode, and it's a pretty big deal. A very, very pivotal one here. The other major storyline, I mean, obviously Charlie's still kind of developing as a side character, but she will soon be impactful. I already know it. But just talking about Harrison Morgan. The other storyline that's taking place so far in the show is focused on Harrison Morgan after he murdered a guest at the Empire Hotel, just like his dad would be. The dark passenger, killing bad guys for a good cause. While he cleaned up the kill perfectly, this episode saw the pressure begin to mount on Dexter's son as the New York City Police Department questioned him, and of course, he's got to deal with some good cops. It created one of the most intense moments of the episode. Again, there's a lot of intensity in this episode, and I applaud the show for that, and proved that this season isn't going to slow down with its approach, which is one of the reasons it has been so convincing. It's been such a great one so far. Harrison opts to lie about what he does at the end of the night of his infamous kill, as he pretends he went to a bar, and he's lying, and he's making it worse for himself. He could have just, I don't really know. I don't know how you would, I can't really speak because obviously I'd never be in that situation, but if I was trying to hide the crime, I don't know if I'd be lying that much. I guess it's just heat of the moment, nerves, whatever you want to say. Meanwhile, detectives Wallace and Olivia follow the exact footsteps that Harrison took, as audiences are shown flashbacks to how Harrison disposed of the body, set to the song Staying Alive, which felt appropriate. The Bee Gees. That's kind of Detective Olivia's song, which is awesome. I think that's great. It kind of gives her like this iconic aura. She puts her headphones in and that song starts playing. That's pretty fucking badass. And I love her character, by the way. Obviously, you don't like her because she's a cop and she's getting in Harrison's way, but Harrison gets a glimpse at them in action when it suddenly dawns on him that they're closing in on his tail. The second interview then sees the police break down exactly what happened in painstaking and gruesome detail, and it's super fucked for Harrison. They show some sympathy for the way Harrison acted, offering him a way out, which leads to him making a serious confession. However, it's not the one people are expecting. Instead, he retracts his lie about going to a bar, revealing his homelessness, and that he stays at the hotel, using Elsa as his alibi at the moment. Kind of fucked up to put that girl in that situation, but, you can't really blame him at the same time. Now we're going to kind of move on to the whole Charlie dinner party from The Dark Passenger. So, he learns about a unique dinner party for serial killers, which, again, is so fucking cool. And I talked about this in my last review. Make sure you guys go check that out. But it's almost kind of setting up to be like this John Wick style serial killer meetup thing. And, John Wick has like the hitmen. I guess they're not serial killers, but like the underworld of hitmen that are going after John Wick. This is serial killers. And it's going to be interesting now that you think about it, because some of those guys are going to have ill intentions. Dexter's like a vigilante. He's like a hero. So I'm not sure what kind of serial killers he's going to meet at this dinner, but wow. That's going to be so sick when he finally gets to that party. Sets things up nicely for the next 7 episodes to possibly have Charlie involved as a really, really big player setting this thing up. This episode also pushed things forward to the next episode again, which is likely to see many of the other serial killers teased in the original trailer make themselves known. Again, I didn't really watch the original trailer, so I'm not really sure what kind of serial killers we're going to get, and I think that's a good thing on my part, because I'm going to be probably pleasantly surprised by this episode, which is actually out now. That's because Dexter learns of the invite and the money that had been left for the Dark Passenger, whom he killed. Shout out to the Dark Passenger being actually a good Samaritan before he goes, talking about this like invitation in this book bag and all this crazy shit. Dexter finds the money in the invite to a unique dinner party specifically for serial killers, and he manages to rescue his finger before it's too late so that he can access it. Awesome, dude. It's so fucking cool. That whole concept, like, it's gonna be really hard for them to fuck it up. Now, it's obviously possible for them to. It's going to be really hard because that is so damn cool to me. While there's still a lot of mystery surrounding this storyline, this slow tease is something that's paying off for the show, and I think it's only going to get better and better. The show hasn't held back on surprise cameos so far either, just kind of getting into that, and that continued this episode as Joey Quinn and Vince Masuka return to the series as Angel Batista reveals he's retiring from Miami Metro. That was such an awesome touch. I love that they included those guys. Some people kind of hated on Joey Quinn, Joseph Quinn, whatever you want to call him. My hair looks kind of fire right now. Some people were kind of hating on Joey Quinn when he was in the original series, but I honestly liked his angle. I liked his character, and I kind of liked what they were going for. Like, he's kind of this, like, gives in to temptations. Like, he's honestly a pretty relatable character. Like, most of us wouldn't get, like, hammered and go after, like, Russian supermodels in the bars, but, like, you need a guy that's going to ruffle feathers outside of Miami Metro and the police department. So, to me, I think Joey Quinn was a great character, and to see him even make, like, a, 4 or 5 minute appearance in this episode was fantastic to me. I don't know if I'm, like, unpopular in that opinion. You guys can let me know in the comments down below, and again, I'm kind of recapping the show, so if you want to make more comments, please do in the comments, and I will reply to you. Anyways, just kind of getting into this, while they question what he'll do next, Batista makes it clear he has personal things to take care of, as he hints at there being one thing he cannot let go of, which is his desire to uncover the truth about Dexter. And I was watching this episode, and I honestly can't remember if he told them that he was going after Dexter. Could you imagine, like, Vince Masuka being the forensics guy, Joey Quinn being a detective, same with Angel Batista? I know that would be a little overkill, but could you imagine those three, like, hunting Dexter? That would be so fucking badass. I don't know, man. I would love that. Something about that would be so cool. It's another gripping storyline that is running through the series. Angel Batista, although he is kind of in the background, I will admit, it's still a really intriguing storyline to kind of look at. The three key plots that all link back to Dexter in some way, we kind of talk about them. Ensuring each episode of the show moves between them and remains fast-paced. So that's kind of the recap. Let's get into the review. So I think like a big question with this episode is, are we going to see more fan service? Are we going to see more cameos? Or did they already kind of set that up? Because obviously we know that Angel Batista is going to be a huge part of the show, like down the stretch, maybe not right now, but in the long term, I think he's going to affect the series trajectory. But are there going to be more? I don't know. So far, there have been a lot of fun cameos, and while not completely expecting any, it would be nice to see like maybe him have a vision of Deborah, or obviously Harry continues. I can't really think of any other characters. I do think they are kind of touching more upon like the Miami Metro PD characters that are major. Obviously, we know that Dokes is dead, LaGuerta is dead, again, Deborah is dead. Maybe a captain that Deborah was with, maybe he could return. That would be kind of fucking awesome. Yeah, I don't really know. I really liked this episode. It was very fun. Again, the intensity, the action. If you want an action-packed episode, this is probably going to be your favorite, and honestly, I'm sort of in that camp. I liked the first episode maybe a little bit better just because of the setup that it had, but this was awesome, dude. I really enjoyed this. Again, let me know in the comments what you guys think down below. I think the whole Harrison storyline is intriguing, how like this early in the season, like he's already kind of getting busted and they know exactly what he did and he's not like confirming or denying it. So I think that's an awesome dynamic that we can kind of carry forward with the show. But with that being said, I am out, guys. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Check out all my socials. I just got done streaming for like 5 hours and I'm probably going to do the same tomorrow. Maybe not quite 5 hours, but we will still do the same. I've been playing college football ever since it came out, talking to the guys in Discord, playing some Fortnite, doing all sorts of stuff, so check me out over there. We have the picks of the week going all weekend. I just dropped an NBA Youngboy and Cardi song reaction. We're dropping an Alfredo 2 video tomorrow from Freddie Gibbs, and Tyler the Creator is coming on Sunday. So check out all that content. I'm trying to get these videos out as fast as I can. I am out.